Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what's older than we think? Flushing toilets date all the way back to the Indus River Valley Civilization, back in 2000 BC. Indus River Valley Civilization. Chico. Ancient Minoans, 3000-1100 BCE, had hot and cold running water and an extensive sewage system. Romans had pipe-heated floors, something I still thought was awesome when my aunt got it like a decade ago. The ancient Romans, well, the wealthy ones, had central heating in their homes. You can actually still see the pipes in some of the buildings at Herculaneum. On top of that, if you ever get the chance to see how Roman homes were designed, window placement, ceilings, etc., to naturally cool themselves, it's nothing short of incredible. Do you have any good book suggestions on the subject? It's a subject I've been meaning to learn about. Edit. Thanks so much for all the replies and information. I'm going to be going through and bookmarking websites and videos and writing down book recommendations. What I think is really cool from Herculaneum is that we're able to recover writing from the libraries there. The pyroclastic flow didn't turn the papyrus to ash, it preserved in a very damaged state. But thanks to lasers we can see the words that were once visible on the pages. Thanks to lasers. Thanks, lasers. Sharks. Sharks as a family are older than trees. I knew they were old, but damn not that old. I looked it up, and fossils are said to be around 450 million y/o. My contribution to this thread was ferns, 359 million y/o, but sharks are another 100 mil before that. Mind equals blown. Edit. I'll put my original factoids here since infinitely more people are going to see this comment than my original 5 update comment lol, and 2. Because gracious strangers have gifted me with whatever these awards are lol. Hope you all learn something about my favorite plant. Ferns. The fern, class Polypodiopsida, class of flowering vascular plants that possess true roots, stems, and complex leaves and that reproduce by spore, constitute an ancient division of vascular plants, some of them as old as the Carboniferous period, beginning about 358.9 million years ago, and perhaps older. Their type of life cycle, dependent upon spores for dispersal, long preceded the seed plant life cycle. For comparison, that puts them about 113 million years older than non-bird dinosaurs, which lived between about 245 and 66 million years ago. Source. Fun fact about evolution. There was a time when trees existed before there were microbes to decompose them. The trees were made of lignin and cellulose, and the microbes that could eat them took some time to evolve. These trees grew 150 plus feet tall and had shallow roots, so they fell over quite easily. The trees would fall down to the forest floor and just sit there. They wouldn't decompose. So you'd have forests that were hundreds of feet deep of just fallen over trees. The oldest evidence puts sharks in an era where the only multicellular plant was algae. Edit, guys. Sharks did not eat the algae. They ate what ate the algae. Escalators have been around since 1859, though they were called rotating stairs. Yet the US state of Wyoming still only has 2 of them. Granted, it's not like Wyoming has enough people to really need any more. The name Tiffany. It dates back to the 12th century, and has actually led to a thing in writing called the Tiffany problem, because you can have a well-researched historical novel that people just don't buy into, because you named your 12th century peasant Tiffany. It just sounds laughably anachronistic. The Tiffany problem makes me think of Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice and the name Jessica. He wanted the love interest, who was Jewish, to have a super exotic name, so he invented the name Jessica. The name has become so common since then that it's totally lost its effect. Shakespeare also randomly invented the word gossip because he needed to define a bunch of wives in the town talking shit and spreading rumors. And now it's part of common English language. Edit. Okay, not randomly, Selenium. I guess he was the first to put into usage in writing, and possibly the first to use it as a verb. Tiffany. It's Greek, too. Is the root. Ah, yes, I can tell. Wait, Tiffany is just feminine Theophes. Hilarious. Give me a word, any word. And I show you how the root of that word is Greek. Fax machines. They were invented in 1843. Before the telephone. https://www.thouftco.com. A samurai could have used a fax machine. I'm imagining a samurai in his armor with a katana sitting at a desk in an office sending attacks. The Japanese do love a good fax. No, I'm serious. As far as I can tell, this is the Japanese business practice for sending an important document. Man types up document and prints it. Walks it over to boss. Boss hand corrects it and makes notes, faxes it back despite being on same floor. Changes are made, document is printed again and faxed to mailroom. Document is then faxed to business they are communicating with in the US. Fax is delivered as a PNG to my email, tilted 90 degrees and barely readable. Came for this one. To put this in perspective, tumbleweeds aren't native to the American Southwest, but by a quirk of history we know exactly which shipment of flax from Askreddit brought their seeds to the US in 1877. Commercial fax service has been around longer than tumbleweeds in the American Southwest. Edit. That was a quick check out this weird thing comment I didn't expect to blow up, so it's a bit lacking in detail and rigor. To be a bit more thorough, this is specifically Callitragus, the most common tumbleweed, and the one that folks, at least near me, refer to when they say tumbleweed. It is not the only plant that dies and gets blown around in the wind. And when I say commercial fax service, I don't mean there were standardized fax machines that companies used, but there was service faxing documents from Paris to Lyon using a dedicated line in the mid-1860s. I was mid-blow by the tumbleweed fact. Ancient Egyptians who built the pyramids. The ancient Egyptians were as old to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans are to us. Cleopatra is chronologically closer to us than she is to when the pyramids were built. Woolly mammoths were still alive during the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. They died out about a millennium after its completion. The electric car. What is likely the first human-carrying electric vehicle with its own power source was tested along a Paris street in April 1881 by French inventor Gustave Trouve. The first crude electric car was built in the 1830s, but it was essentially a semi-functioning model. The electric car was a direct competitor to gasoline-powered vehicles until the 1920s, when roads got better, people started driving further than the range of an electric car, and the world started finding major oil reserves. Weren't the first electric cars using lead-acid batteries? If so, when the batteries eventually discharged, did people go somewhere to replace their battery with a new one? Lead-acid, like car batteries, are rechargeable. The fact that the lighter is older than the match shook my head as a kid. It also gave me the curiosity to question things that seems obvious. When you think about it, it makes sense. The lighter is a simple mechanical concept, some flammable gas and a spark. The match, on the other hand, is a complex chemical reaction. Matches are just way more complex than I thought as a kid. They aren't just a stick of wood. I don't know if this counts, but dinosaurs lived on the Earth a lot longer than most people think. When you think of dinosaurs, you think of their extinction, but they roamed the Earth for 165 million years. Compare that to our 6 million and it's almost mind-boggling, at least IMO. Edit. The modern form of humans is 200,000 years old, but if we include our humanoid ancestors, we've been here 6 million years. Edit 2. I get it, dinosaurs are still around. What I meant to say was the dinosaur era. Also, dinosaurs like the Stegosaurus were as far apart in time from the T-Rex as the T-Rex is from our time. It's even better than that. We're about 16 million years closer to the last Tyrannosaurus than the first Tyrannosaurus was to the last Stegosaurus. What's even crazier to me is that for most people in their minds there was dinosaurs, extinction, cavemen, us, like we popped out of the ash of the dinos, but in reality there were about 58 million years between the dinosaurs dying and the first Homo sapiens appearing, where the world was covered in mostly now extinct megafauna. Sure, dinosaurs are cool and all, but why does nobody talk about giant North American ground sloths, cave bears, and lions? There's literally tens of millions of years of interesting non-dinosaur species that most people seem to just not even know existed. Avocados originally relied on American ground sloths to reproduce. They were the only creature that could poo the seeds whole. Then ground sloths went extinct, probably due to overhunting by humans. Then humans cultivated avocados for the next few millennia, and now we still have avocados. Lol, I heard it put once that mammals were the hairy freaks of the world in dino times. And then the dinos were mostly wiped out and the rest got on the fluffy train and finished doing feathers. And then in turn, Humans are the hairless freaks of the mammal world. I'm wondering what's next, honestly. I was really surprised to discover when Oxford University was founded. They don't know the year for sure, but they know there was definitely teaching going on there in 1096. Another commenter above said that Oxford isn't even the oldest university, but it's the most well-known. Al-Qarawiyyi University in Morocco is the oldest university. Founded by Fatima al-Fihri in 859.